Hello YouTube, this is Indiana Bassmaster, and today I'm going to present to you what colors, gear ratio on a fishing reel that I like to use for jigs, different types of jigs, and what I like to use as trailers. And of course, what colors to throw in visibility and where to throw them. So for starts, I'm just going to start with a typical football jig. This is a kind of like a green pumpkin with some purple strains in it, sorry about that. So like for starts, this is what it looks like. I just have a little Yum Crawl trailer on it. These work really well for jigs. It's more of like a June bug color or green. Yeah, this is more of like a green, well, watermelon pumpkin kind of color. But where I throw this in sort of clear water. Like white jigs work really well in clear water, but I prefer to throw this in like it works in clear water to kind of visibility, like not muddy or stained, but if it has a little bit of stain, this will work just fine. And what I like to do is throw this in the brush and kind of bounce it a little bit or kind of drag it. Like if you're throwing in by like a tree under a tree, I just slowly bounce it off the bottom, like just barely. You'll feel it with fluorocarbon line. I like to throw like 14-pound fluorocarbon line with these jigs so you can feel the bite. And if you can't feel the bite, uh, if you see your line like loosen up like a lot, chances are the fish is running with it towards you. So that's why I like the higher gear ratios, about a 7.1 to 1 gear ratio, which is what I prefer, so you can catch up your line and set the hook and hopefully not miss the fish. Next type of jig I'm gonna go to is a swim jig. I prefer to throw these along weed edges or like around some grass. This one has a little like 2 rattlers, which is really nice. But with this, you can swim it 2 different ways. You can kind of like jerk it, kind of like a jerk bait or like flukes, hopefully get a reaction strike, or you can just reel slowly, and this jig does the job. It's pretty weedless too. Now I'm gonna go into a different color. This is a green and purple kind of color. This is a swim jig too. You can just put a little swim bait on it. This works very well too. Throw it in the same kind of situation. And right here, this is a Finesse black and blue finesse jig. And these work really good with stained water. Black and blue is the way to go. When there's stained water, the water visibility is really, really low, then this is the jig to throw. Not necessarily finesse, but finesse is good in like fall to winter because you can just drag it on the bottom and that's what you do to pick up bites. In the spring and summer though, I prefer like black and blue always works. Black and blue will always work. So if you don't have in my personal reference, black and blue is like my go-to color for jigging. Sometimes jigs like this, like with that Yum Crawl that I was showing earlier, this will work better because it pops out in the water more, but I strongly prefer this with like a crawl, like just a little crawl like this. It doesn't have to be anything special. Let's move on. So here is another finesse football jig, but this one is not black and blue. This is like that watermelon pumpkin color. This is a finesse jig. This works very well. You can put on like a little crawl like this. These work really good. These kick and just all around. I refer this as a good trailer for a jig. That is also Yum. And here's a little bit of still a finesse jig basically. Same thing, just put on a little crawl trailer like that or like this. That works too. They all work basically. Just put on any sort of crawl you have. Even I don't have it down here, but here's another one, and this one has a June bug color. Sort of. This is a swim jig. This will work too. These all work like. Swim jigs work really well when it comes to weed and grasses, but all around I have to say I really prefer the jigs, like the football jigs. Those work a lot better when it comes to brush and throwing under. Like you can just flip those into really anything. I really like you can throw them into brush, throw them under docks. Really, it all around works, and you can really make a jig out of anything. Like, sorry about that. Here's a couple different looking skirts you can put on. You can just get a normal jig head and this will work. Here's one with rattlers. Just throw it into any sort of brush. I just bounce it on the bottom or swim it like I was saying earlier. All around, I prefer jigging. If you can learn how to throw a jig, you can learn how to fish. Jigging is the #1 way of fishing in my personal opinion. Like, if you can catch a fish with a jig, then that's like a go-to bait. So I really prefer you try to catch fish with a jig. Yeah, just different skirts, different colors. Jigs are really cheap to make and they're really cheap to get. You can even buy like a 5-pack of these for like $3 on Cabela's or Bass Pro or really anywhere. I mean, but my go-to out of all of these jigs, if I had to choose one of them, it definitely would be this one. Because this one has that mixture of the black and blue and the green pumpkin. It's just a little finesse jig, and like football jigs have these kind of heads, like kind of like a ball, like an oval kind of ball, and these work perfect throwing into brush, under docks, anywhere really. I really prefer this one. These are all custom made jigs. You can't really buy these anywhere, but you can get colors like them or even the same colors, but I would give you guys a link in the description, but I can't. But yeah, I definitely have to say this is my favorite jig to throw. These all work good from spring, summer, fall, winter. These work all year round. It's really hard to catch them in the winter though. You have to like drag them really slow. When you think that you're fishing them slowly, you need to fish them slower. That's how it is in the winter. But when it comes to spring and summer, throw these under docks and you'll catch them. I mean, that's the best way. It's just, this is by far our go-to bait. And I love all the support you guys are giving me, and thank you guys for watching this video, and I hope I helped you guys out. Thank you, have a good day. And I hope you guys had a great Christmas too.